Hello people. This is the second year I have been observing the decline of the mobile MMORPG genre. If in the 2018-20s, which is not a game, then a hit in which you could safely play for several years, and some still play, then in the last 2 years only a couple of MMORPGs have been released, in which we played for several months. At the same time, recent years have been marked by an abundance of script games in which the greed of developers is elevated to the absolute, and hordes of bots kill the entire gameplay. Or games with gacha for every game mechanic, whether it's clothes, classes, mounts, pets, everything that is supposed to be obtained in a game way. Against the background of all this despondency, a breath of fresh air looks like a Tarisland game from Chinese developers. And this is nothing more than an attempt by the Chinese to make their own cross-platform World of Warcraft, the development of which began long before the news of the termination of the contract with Blizzard in China and the closure of Warcraft servers appeared. As if they knew this was going to happen and were already preparing a replacement in advance. So far, little is known about the game, almost everything is in Chinese, because a couple of closed tests were recently held there, and new ones are expected in June. You can sign up through the questionnaire. If you have a widget, then maybe you'll be lucky. I will leave a link to the questionnaire under the video. So, what is known at the moment? Since the game is cross-platform, that is, available on PCs and phones, the developers decided to try and make a good adaptation for the PC. That is, we will have a separate user-friendly interface for each of the platforms. This is a plus. Also, there will be no auto boy and auto race in the game, because there will be no need to grind hundreds of thousands of monsters like DWM and the like. All pumping goes mainly on quests. Avi Schmott is extracted from the dungeon. Remember the same World of King? I think the concept will be approximately similar. The world of the game is large, open, and it is not yet fully clear whether it is divided into zones or completely seamless. As the developers say, there will be no fast teleports in the game, which means that you will have to go to the points with quests on a mount, which will allow you to better explore the world around you and find all points of interest. And they will be here. For each huge location, you will need to open several teleports, a dozen chests and several interesting places. For this they will give points and awards. Well, now about the most important thing that can elevate the game or ruin it at the very start. Donut. In all interviews, the developers say that there will be no drink wine elements in the game. Everything that will be sold in the game store is looks, mounts and other things that will not bother you in any way and affect the gameplay. Now they are still thinking about adding a combat pass, where there will also be various appearances. Also in the game we are waiting for a full-fledged auction, where you can sell everything that is not nailed down. Of course, after everything I've heard from developers of other games, it's hard to believe it. But even if there is no ubiquitous gacha in the game, then you can already put a monument to this developer. So let's wait for the release of the game at least somewhere and see for ourselves. 8 classes will be available in the game from the start. Warrior, Mech, Priest, Assassin, Hunter, Paladin, Bard and Barbarian. There was no choice of gender on the PDA. They say that it was turned off for the sake of tests, but it seems to me that he will not be. Most likely, we will run all the same, as you read Legends, and the appearance will change only by appearances. Each class will have 2 specializations, as well as a clear division by roles. That is, full-fledged tanks, supports and damagers. Something that has been missing in games for a long time. At the same time, each specialization can be further customized thanks to the talent tree, which will have 41 and 81 talents, respectively. Well, finally, I'll tell you what I know about the content. As in WoW, everything interesting here will take place in the dungeons. A lot of them are expected. So far, dungeons for 5 people are available on tests, but in the future you can expect raids for 20 and 40 people. Each dungeon will have several levels of difficulty and several tactics of killing the boss, which will have to be studied by Vipna of the entire raid several times. Now on the internet you can find a bunch of videos from Chinese tests where people run in various dungeons. I will also leave a couple of links for familiarization. Everything looks high quality, there is a distribution by roles, there is an agrometer and many other useful chips from WoW. Also, according to the developers, they will replace the usual updates of the game with seasons. That is, every 2 to 4 months there will be a new season in the game. There will be new dungeons and raids, new content and new events. At the same time, all the stuff from last season will become irrelevant. The thing, in my opinion, is interesting. So it will be easier for beginners to get into the gameplay, and old people will not get bored sitting in their top gear. And of course there will be battlefields like in WoW, where you can face off with other players. So far, everything sounds cool, doesn't it? If there really is no hard donation, gacha elements, auto-boy and other dull bullshit that is shoved into all modern MPGs, then we can really get a decent game that will gather a large gaming community around us. So, if the tests are successful, I hope that sometime in the fall we will be able to play it fully. Write your thoughts in the comments, and also do not forget to subscribe to the channel, put likes and bang the bell. Tarian was with you, bye to everyone.